What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? SPACs Attack family, how we doing today? Hit the like. Let's get this party started. Brent, you already know the DJ Brent. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I always love listening to Brent's advice. I don't know if you guys caught him on the At the Close on Friday, but definitely someone that knows the market. So what's going on, guys? How we doing? Want to say hello today. Want to take a little second here to just, if you're new to the show, say hello. You know, this is one of the greatest time. I want to give some shout outs to some of the people that we always have in our chat. Let's do a little roll through here. All right. So how we doing? Shout out Andrew, Kelly, Chris. What's going on? Sean, Solar, Z, Low, Brent, even Brent up in there. Eric, what's going on, guys? David, Renz. Who else we got in the house? Say hello. Muhammad, what's going on? It's good to see you guys in the chat. I always love to see the loyal listeners that stick with us every single day. So do me a favor, smash that like button, hit the subscribe bell. Let's get started with SPACs Attack. You know, I got to get Chris in here. I think he's working his way into here. So before we get into kind of some of the headlines, I know you guys have been seeing some SPACs out there. So let me know what's going on, guys. How are you guys feeling? You feeling excited today? What's up? What's up, Chris? What's up, Sean, Nate, Dipper, Alex? Dipper, you getting the dip today? What's going on? Trying to wake up, Kelly? No worries. We need a little coffee here. My man, Chris Katje.
What's happening, Mitch? How we doing today on this fine Tuesday morning / almost afternoon?
Hey, it's snowing here in Colorado Springs, but I got the blue skies because I'm trying to get the blue skies to get this market back up here. So do we got clear blue skies? That's what I want to see. So what's going on today? Do we got some headlines or what, man?
Yeah, you know, we got some headlines. We also did get one new deal announced today. It was one that was rumored before, but I got some great details to share on that new deal. So let's kick it and send it to headlines.
Let's do it. Let's do some headlines, and then we'll get into our Elite 8 March SPACness.
All right, guys. Yeah, so as I said, this Tuesday morning, some exciting headlines to get to. And then we also, want to get into that Elite 8 March SPACness tournament. And on the show today, we have a very special guest to help us get down to the Final Four that you guys in the chat are going to help us vote on. So super excited about this show today. So last night we had BFT merging with PaySafe. Shares were up about 5 or 6% after hours. They were featured on Mad Money. We told you this on the show yesterday that Bill Foley was going to be on the show and to keep an eye on BFT and some of those other Foley SPACs. Kramer was very, very bullish on PaySafe going forward. That merger has been approved. It will trade with the new ticker this week. So keep an eye out on this deal. We've talked a lot about PaySafe and, some great things in that interview with Kramer last night. And then we have STPK merging with STEM. They set their merger vote date for April 27th, so about a month from now. But, as we enter April, the calendar is starting to fill up nicely with some of these merger votes. So some of these deals that may not have gotten done in the first quarter looks like, that second quarter is going to start out with a bunch of hopeful merger approvals. So looking forward to that. Then earnings last night. We did have 3 companies reporting, so I just want to touch on them briefly, and then maybe when we pull up the charts, we can get to them. We had Danimer Scientific, that's DNMR, report earnings. Shares are down about 12% right now. We had Butterfly Network. Shares are down 11% today. And then our big one, that we can get into later, we had Canoe, that's ticker GOEV. They reported last night and shares are down 21% today. So not a lot of positive from those, earnings. Again, some of these companies, it's about the forward looking, right? And what they're going to do in the future. But Go EV, Canoe just not getting a lot of love today after those earnings. And then XL Fleet also reported then this morning. Shares are down, or actually they report tonight. So that one should be kept on watch as well. That is a former SPAC trading under $10. So keep an eye out on that one. A couple SPACs to watch. We have COOLU still trading in units. The company behind that SPAC announced 2 new SPACs, which could mean, that a deal is coming soon. I do see common shares also, so COOL. So keep an eye out on that one as we kind of follow that pattern of these new SPACs being announced and then whether or not they announce deals for those first ones. Then we have ALTU. So ALTU is rumored to bring Aireon public. Aireon is a hypersonic company. We talked about this yesterday, right? So they had a tweet out sharing the date of March 29th. So there was some speculation that they could be announcing that SPAC merger on that day. But what they announced yesterday instead was a Mach 3 commercial airliner that can travel to any 2 points on the planet in 3 hours or less. So that's a pretty big announcement from them. Again, we've ARK Funds and Kathy Wood talk about hypersonic. We've seen a lot of the big airline companies also make some investments in the, hypersonic space. So keep an eye out. We'll see if we get a, definitive agreement from ALTU here. Then we have CCIV, which I do own shares of. So Lucid Motors, new plans revealed for that $25,000 car. This doesn't come as a big surprise, but a website, carbuzz.com, is sharing some details from Peter Rawlinson, in that race for a cheap EV going forward that could definitely help them compete. Not only with Tesla, but with some of these, other large auto companies really trying to hit on that key price point, bringing the cost down for future electric vehicles. Then ARK Funds yesterday, the big SPAC purchase continues to be DraftKings. So added more shares of DraftKings to 2 of the ETFs that already own shares. And then we have SPCE, which I do own shares of, Virgin Galactic. They unveiled that Spaceship 3 today, which looks awesome. Lots of room for those passengers, those Under Armour spacesuits. But, I have seen some people, rightfully so, critical as well, that the company still needs to get those test flights completed and, really needs to set the path going forward. And it's not just about, what the spacecraft looks like here. Then our big movers from yesterday, we had those 2 deals announced. So CMIIU still trading in units, up 8% on that deal with Soma Logic, of course, getting pipe backing from ARK Funds as well. And then Ajax, AJAX, which I do own a position in, up 4% on that deal with Kazoo, the largest online seller of cars in the UK. And then turning to our deals. So this morning we got confirmation, ticker QELL. That's Quell Acquisition, announcing a rumor with Lilium, which is an electric vertical takeoff and landing company, one of several in that space to go public via SPAC. So valuing the company pro forma at $3.3 billion. Quell, of course, led by Barry Engel, who's the former General Motors North America president. He will join Lilium going forward. Pipe of $450 million includes investments by Bailey Gifford, BlackRock, Tencent Holdings, PIMCO, and Palantir Technologies. Proceeds of $830 million. So again, Lilium seeking to be the leader in this eVTOL market, saying they can save people hours with their jets. They have a proprietary vectored thrust technology that they say sets them apart. And then their new 7-seater Lilium jet was also unveiled today. They call it the best unit economics and market-leading capacity for passengers and cargo in the space. Speeds of 175 miles per hour, altitude of 10,000 feet, and a range of 155 miles. And then also 30 times fewer components than commercial aircraft, which they think can help it with manufacturing and scalability. And then going forward, so they see commercial operations in 2024. They have a 100,000 square foot prototype manufacturing facility in Munich. They're going to launch operations in Florida in 2024 with 14 ports. And then they also see offering business-to-business operations in the future. And then if that 7-seater wasn't enough to get investors excited this morning, they also offer a 16-seater jet in the future that they think can really help grow in that market. They see a total market size of $1.5 to $3 trillion, $200 million in commitments from their infrastructure partners, and then also talking to more partners about additional places in Europe. So one Lilium 7-seater jet, 15,000 revenue per day, $5 million a year. It costs $2.5 million to make. They see the launch in Florida having 125 jets, $600 million in annual revenue. And then in Germany, 190 jets, $900 million in annual revenue. That's their first two markets. 90 jets in its first year, 2024. And they see hitting 1,000 jets globally by 2027. So revenue of $0.2 billion in 2024, $1.3 billion in 2025, and then all the way up to $5.9 billion in 2027. Shares of Quell are up today. Let me turn to our calendar. So we have that vote NPA later this week on April 1st. And then we do have earnings tonight from Romeo Power, RMO, and CLVR, Clever Leaves. So an exciting calendar for the week. And then, as I said, that April calendar filling up nicely with some of these merger votes. So that's what I've got, Mitch, for headlines. And then, of course, that deal for QELL, which has been rumored before.
All right, guys. So one thing I do want to take a look at is one stock that I had mentioned that it was probably going to hang out for a little while. It's starting to look good for me technically. And what stock is that, guys? None other than, of course, and Chris mentioned it a little while ago, but boom, CCIV starting to look good now. I'll tell you the truth, man. This is one stock that I called, and it got so hyped that it got me to the point where I didn't even like talking about it. This is one that I called at $10, and I still didn't even like talking about it because there was just way too much hype put out there. And you know how much I hate the pump and dump schemes, Chris, and people that talk like that on Twitter. So, but one thing I will mention is now we're starting to get kind of this bottoming action. I pointed out this low before, and I was trying to let it get to this low, kind of right here in this 20 area. And we had that little wick day that it went to it, but it keeps trying to turn away from it. And then that's a good sign. Showing us some signs that there is some price volume here that's starting to level out. And I'm starting to get interested, because you could kind of risk off of that level now and start trying to look at where you can start sizing in. This is an interesting chart because I think eventually you could see it up there at $60. You start seeing these get sold, start seeing these start rolling, new factory expansions, and then you could see that right back up there. So my question is, will it hit this kind of gap, this shadow? Because that shadow is going to be hard to overcome. But right now, it's starting to level up. It's starting to look interesting. Definitely starting to get on my radar there. CCIV.
Yeah, we've talked about that one a lot. I do own shares. On that chart, looking good as you pointed out. For me, again, the story where we're still a little ways away from getting those cars in production, but I think they're going to be able to compete. They've got some strong financial backing, and that first luxury EV already reached full reservation. Strong demand. It's going to become a well-known brand. So I'm definitely excited. And then, to see them talk about that $25,000 car, sounds good if they can make it happen. Definitely lots of companies out there trying to get that price point under 30,000. Who's going to be first? And who's going to be best? Or is there room for multiple players in that field?
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's get into our March SPACness. Before we get into our March SPACness, I think let's go ahead and bring on the man himself. They call him the G, but for most people, what do they call him, Chris? What do they call him?
Yeah, guys, we talk SPACs all the time. We bring you CEOs of companies. We bring you the experts in the field, and I'm very excited to bring on someone who I've been following on Twitter for a long time in the SPAC space, the one and only SPAC guru, over 70,000 followers on Twitter. He's one of the go-to sources for SPAC content and knowledge. One of the nicest guys out there too, as far as interacting with people. So my pleasure to bring on my friend, SPAC Guru. How you doing today, Guru?
Gentlemen, boy, those news comments this morning, the detail, this wasn't just headlines. This was intense, deep due diligence. Hats off. You guys are both goats. Man, that was impressive. Way to go.
Oh, thank you. And coming from the GOAT himself, that means so much. We're so happy to get you on the show. And we've got an exciting show today because along with those headlines in that deal, as I told you, we've been running March SPACness, our own take on the March Madness tournament. So we started with 64 former SPACs that have completed deals. We put them up to a vote in our chat, which we love engaging with all our fans out there in the chat. And here we are today. We're down to our Elite 8. So we have 4 matchups to dive into today. And what we'd like to do, Guru, is have you share, maybe some of your opinions and thoughts on these companies. So our chat, can get some more insight into these exciting matchups between these well-known SPACs.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah. I know you're definitely ready. My man always putting out information and giving some good information there. So today we're going to have some fun, guys. We're going to get into our Elite 8. And really, we're working our way to the Final 4, and then we'll be working our way towards the National SPAC Championship. All right, guys. So before we get into that, I did get mentioned here. Hertz Crambler is asking about APXT. Any hope here? Well, I can tell you, I love TJ. Love TJ. You got to love the man. If you didn't see their interview with him, you got to check it out. But one thing I definitely say is just keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. We got to get through this period right now that we've been going through. And I think if we can get through that period, you just might see some of these SPACs come back to life.
Yeah, absolutely. APXT, AvePoint, we had the CEO, TJ, on our show talking about how they're a Microsoft partner, and bridging that gap between Microsoft and small to medium-sized businesses. So, thank you for the love in the chat and that tip. I like APXT going forward. It's in that software, that SaaS space, and I think just not getting a lot of love right now. But we'll see what happens, once that merger goes through. So without further ado, Mitch and Guru, you ready to dive into these matchups today?
Let's do it. I'm excited. First matchup we are going to work our way in the West here. As you guys know, one of the good things about doing this kind of bracket was that we worked our way down to some pretty pretty interesting companies here. I think you guys are going to see that there's some close battles here, but let's go ahead. Let's zoom in here and let's get into our first battle of the day. All right. So here
go
we
ahead,
got
Mitch. You
Romeo versus RSI. Chris?
Yeah, so guys, press 1 in the chat for RMO, Romeo Power. Press 2 in the chat for RSI, Rush Street Interactive. Interesting matchup here. Very different sectors. We have a battery company and we have a sports betting company. I'm a fan of both of these companies. I do own shares of RMO. We've talked about both of them a lot. So again, 1 for RMO, 2 for RSI, and I'm going to turn things over to the guru. SPAC Guru, what do you think of these two companies, and who gets your vote to move on for the best 2021 performance here?
Well, before we get there, let's talk about some things that have already happened. Romeo Power, as we know, called the warrants. Since they called their warrants, stocks come down quite a bit. Don't remember exactly, but I think the stock had a 40 handle on it at one time. And really interesting. We have a lot of infrastructure plays. We have batteries. We have technology. We have government saying they're pointing in that direction. Very interesting. Now, it's competitor, RSI, Rush Street. Rush Street was who the heck is that when the merger was announced? And people were saying, baby DraftKings. But when you really go and you look and you see who this crowd is and you see how big their footprint already is, it's pretty incredible. And as you guys know, and you've interviewed, Nicolo, that guy's a stud. It's part of the DMY family of SPACs. And we got two monsters here. And we're going to do this based on percentage gain for 2021. I like them both. I think Romeo Power is the winner because of where it's been. I think that there are people looking to average down. It's had a bigger fall from grace. I love RSI. Just so you know, I own them both in my IRA. Probably close to equal weight, so I don't have a bias based on that. I won't look right now to see what my average cost is because that might sway my decision.
Right.
But right now, if I had to pick one to move forward to the next round, I'm going Romeo Power.
Awesome. You heard it here from the guru. He owns both of these in the IRA. Again, we're big fans of Niccolo De Masi on the show. We've had him on several times, getting that Rush Street deal done. Mitch, I'm seeing a very, very split vote here in the chat. If I add it up, I think the ones for Romeo, though, actually take it. So I think RMO is the winner here. Is that accurate? Or are we still counting?
Let's see if I can change it up here. I think we got a winner here in RSI. So that's what I would say. At the end of the day, guys, you can see I've mentioned before, a lot of people try to compare GNOG, but I think in the long run, you're going to see RSI as twice the company of GNOG. And that's why I would go with RSI here. But let's see. Looks like I got another one as I started talking that. So guess what? Buzzer beater, like SPAC broker saying here. Romeo Power, Lionel, I'm going to have to reach out. He's going to have to know. He's going to have to come on for the Final Four.
For sure. We're going to have to get Lionel back on the show. So Romeo Power moving on to the Final Four, you guys. Great job in the chat. Very, very close vote out there. And great comments from SPAC Guru on both of these companies. So that gets me excited when we have an Elite Eight with such a strong matchups of, strong companies here, where it makes it hard for, Guru to pick a winner, makes it hard for me to pick a winner, and hard for, Mitch in the chat as well to pick winners. So great matchups here. Let's move on down to the East. Another exciting matchup. So we have Desktop Metal, that's ticker DM, against OpenDoor, ticker OPEN. So guys, in the chat, press 1 for Desktop Metal, 2 for OpenDoor, two giants. Again, we have 3D printing and we have, buying and selling homes online. Let's turn again to SPAC Guru. What are your thoughts on these two great companies in this exciting Elite 8 matchup?
Well, let's go back and do another recap. Desktop Metal just called their warrants. When these SPACs de-SPAC and they get to call the warrants, it creates a little bit of drama. People are worried about dilution. People are worried about ARBs and all those things, rightfully so. So Desktop Metal, the original unicorn 3D printer that we've seen go SPAC, as you know, we've seen at least two more come since then. A1, AONE, and we've also seen what's the one, the 3D, the Spitfire that just came out from Barry Sternick. I own it.
SPFR, John Spitfire.
Yes. So those are three different 3D printers, all very interesting. Now let's talk about OpenDoor. OpenDoor, as we know, Chamath's second deal, if I'm not mistaken, was IPOB. Chamath getting beat up a little bit right now in social media. A little bit of drama. Some people weren't happy that he sold his Virgin Galactic stock. Some people didn't like some of his tweets, and then he went dark. He's done. Now, the interesting is we have IPOB, which is Chamath SPAC, versus DM, Desktop Metal, which Chamath did the pipe. So this is Chamath versus Chamath. This is Warriors versus Warriors. So I'm going to tell you, I posted it this weekend. If you look at my screen, I was with the chairman of Desktop Metal this weekend. Great guy, Leo Hendry. And he had nothing but great things to say about Chamath as well. So I'm going to also just get into one other thing. On the OpenDoor, we also have our SPAC squad buddy Spencer, who's got Supernova, which a lot of people say, hey, this is the guy who started Zillow. This could be an interesting play as well. So we have Desktop Metal versus the other two newer 3D printers, and we have OpenDoor versus incumbent Zillow and the new Spencer Supernova deal. So they're both pretty interesting. I looked at both of their highs, pretty similar in price. As we know, SPACs would get beat up a little bit right now, but I know the Leo Hendry crew. I know these guys do acquisitions. I remember him from TDI. The guy, he owned the Yes Network. For a short time, he owned Vice. Anybody gets in their way, any competition, they have unlimited access to money, but so does Chamath. But I know that Leo buys up all the competitors that get in his way at times. And I don't understand the OpenDoor unique value proposition compared to some others. I'm going Desktop Metal.
Awesome. You guys heard it here. Guru, talking again, the Chamath connection, both of these companies. I have owned shares of both of these companies in the past. I did own Open when it was IPOB. And SPAC Guru getting some love from the chat, guys. Let's hear it for SPAC Guru. Again, if you don't follow him on Twitter, at SPAC Guru. He's one of the nicest guys out there, one of the most knowledgeable in the SPAC space. So, we love having him on here. What great insight he just brought. And that's a key point, talking about the competition, right? Mitch, you and I have talked, about that OpenDoor versus OfferPad. And then, Desktop Metal Guru, I love the comments about doing acquisitions. Even after getting that deal done, it looks like they've already worked on several acquisitions. So, to me, I got to follow that and say, Desktop Metal would be my winner as well. Mitch, what do you think before we tally up these votes here?
Well, one thing I've mentioned before is I still have my eye on if Biden does that first-time buyer credit, because I think that will shake this out of the water. I think you'll see Open win immediately because of that. I mean, at the end of the day, I know that the supply of houses out there right now is very slim. And another thing is, to build new houses right now, it's too expensive. Inflation, guys. Look at the price of lumber. Look at the price of everything that you're going to need to build a house. Then, if you really look at it, then you'll see, hey, Open actually has some move here, because with inflation, I think we get a housing boom. I think you're going to see housing prices increase 30% from their value. And if that's happening, all I got to say is homes for sale, baby. Homes for sale, because I might become a realtor if that's what's going to happen, man. I don't know about you, but they make pretty good money when they're selling houses. So
hey Mitch, how much do you like debates? Obviously, in a friendly, respectful way.
go for it. I always love debates.
Well, let me tell you what I know. I know that about 50% of the landlords are what they call mom and pop landlords. They're not Blackstone, they're not BlackRock, they're not the big REITs. They're people who own these houses for second income, and a lot of them use them for their own income. And right now, with the rental freeze, a lot of these mom and pops are hurting, and the tenants are not filling out the paperwork to help them out. So these mom and pops are selling. And they're selling to who? They're selling to first-time home buyers. They're taking a lot of the supply out of the market. The rental market is very underserved and will continue to go in that direction. Right now, it's impossible to buy building materials. It's impossible. It doesn't matter how much money you have when they don't have the physical things to build a house. It's almost like the chip shortage right now in auto manufacturing. You can love the car OEMs, but if they're not getting their hands on the chips, they're not building the cars. And the other thing I want to tell you, why Desktop Metal, in my opinion, will be the winner. I hate drama. Get those friggin' warrants exercised. Get them out of the way. Let the ARBs have their final punch to the SPAC face. People who are anti-SPAC, people who see it as easy hanging fruit, they beat the crap out of them because they can. Desktop Metal has now executed its final SPAC hangover and is now free to fly, and OpenDoor has not called the warrants yet. We're unknown what's going on with manufacturing products, and the individual homeowner is right now diminishing daily.
Yeah, excellent points there, Guru. You know, again, that's why we have you on the show talking about, you know, the warrant being a catalyst here as well. So, you know, excellent point. I love that. Mitch, I tallied up the votes. I got to say, again, super close race, but by my count, Desktop Metal getting the win and moving on to the Final Four. Is that accurate here?
I'll take it. Desktop Metal for the win here. Moving on. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into the Dirty South here. And this is when the battles start getting tight. Chris and I have talked about it. The right side of this bracket somehow turned out to be the deaf side. You didn't really want to be on the right side because the competition was fierce. And let me tell you guys, there were some really close battles here, whether it was MP or FSR or ChargePoint and DraftKings. So let's get into the battle right now. Next up, we got DKNG here versus MP. Who's going to win this one? It's a close one. What's going on, Chris?
You know, two giants here, in my opinion. Of course, this is March SPACness. We've talked about sports betting companies. You saw RSI on the left side of the bracket make it to the Elite 8. DraftKings, you know, a dominant player in the online sports betting market. They've also been one of the dominant SPACs, right? Post-merger, trading strong the whole way. You know, but going up against MP Materials, one of our favorites on the show, we of course had CEO James Litinsky back in November when that was a $13 stock. But they have a lot going for them, right? With rare earth mining and the support of the Biden administration right now to really wean off from China and get rare earth mining done here in the U.S. And, you know, when we had James on the show, he talked about being able to support, you know, electric vehicle companies, wind power companies, and other industries going forward. So this is a huge matchup. I don't even know if I can make a pick here. Again, I'm going to turn. So again, guys, in the chat, press 1 for DraftKings, DKNG, 2 for MP Materials. let's turn it over to SPAC Guru. What do you got for this exciting matchup for us?
Boy, talk about opposites. We've got defense versus offense here. So let's break it down. We have DraftKings from SPAC stud Harry Sloan. For those of you who don't know DraftKings and skills, Harry Sloan has a new unit available, the Soaring Eagle. The unit is almost at NAV. Holy crap. It's over $1 billion. If you don't know where to go, you have some money you need to tuck away, I'm not telling you what to buy or sell. My largest position right now in the trading account is Soaring Eagle and DraftKings, getting the DraftKings. So now we have DraftKings. Now, we also have other small little, not little, but we have other things that are distracting us from DraftKings. We have RSI. We have, you know, even if you, whether you want to say HZON with Sport Radar. We have Golden Nugget, GNOG. We have a lot of distractions. And this DraftKings, it's trading pretty darn high. So let's take a break from DraftKings. Let's talk about MP. Got to throw in the Chamath connection again. Chamath does the pipe on this. This is a rare earths company. Now I'm going to show you how old I am. I own this same exact rare earths mining concession block, hole in the ground, whatever you want to call it, back in the day when it was a SPAC that Goldman Sachs did called Molycorp. Molycorp was a SPAC, as you know, $10 start. Don't remember exactly where it went. Want to say 70 something. And the CEO was on an interview and he said his stock was overpriced. It was a bubble. The end. Put a fork in it. Molycorp stock plummets. And here we are now. If you live long enough, you get to see everything. Molycorp is back. It's got some new wheels on it. And rare earths are as important, even more important today as they were when this was Molycorp. With all that being said, I think DraftKings is a very high price, being we're going by percentage gain of money invested today. MP is down considerably from its all-time high. There is really no other competitor that you could put apples to apples against MP, so its rarity and its scarcity makes it very interesting. To me, it's a no-brainer for return on investment. I'm going MP material all day, every day. DraftKings had a great run. Love the company, but money goes where it's treated best. And if I had to go today, I'm going MP materials. I own MP materials. I do not own DraftKings.
Excellent points there, Guru. Yeah, you know, DraftKings, that's the thing that stands out for me. Dominant position, but the shares are up quite a bit right now. MP Materials has pulled back, and as you said, you know, very little competition, at least here in the U.S. I do also like, you know, as I said, the Biden administration being very supportive of them getting, you know, operations done here. So to me, I would also have to say MP Materials, and shout out on that Soaring Eagle, guys. If you don't know, we told you about it when it was first announced on the show. The same team that has DraftKings and Skills, which you're going to see in another minute, bringing Soaring Eagle. A ticker is SRNGU, trading as units at around $10 right now. Guru said he's a big fan of it and a large position, and I also have a very large position in Soaring Eagle right now because I think they get a great deal done in the future. But that's the future. In the now, DraftKings MP, Mitch, what do you think here? And you know, before we get to this vote.
Yeah, you know, one thing I'd have to say is in MP, I think one of the problems with MP is that they got a lot of pressure that they're going to see. I think they have to worry about what's going on with the whole China situation because I think that's going to be a big change. It could help or hurt them. Either way, really. I think, but you know, I think, you know, MP is just going to be jumping for DraftKings, baby. Jumping and jumping, trying to get it. Oh, Oh, you can't get it. You can't get it. Oh, nope. You're not going to get it, baby. My vote is DraftKings. My vote is DraftKings, guys, because at the end of the day, I think, with the Final Four, with sports coming, I think state by state, I keep saying it, revenue just coming on in.
Mitch, I love you. I'm coming at you again. There's been talks that FanDuel, owned by a public company right now in Europe, is not seeing the value in it that they think they should. We do have a lot of SPACs now that are looking for carve-outs of public companies. What happens when FanDuel shows up? And my last knockout punch will be there is no EV industry without rare earths. The end.
Wow. Yeah. Great point on FanDuel. Mitch, you and I have talked about another company in sports betting that I think. So again, DraftKings has an advantage here as they're a pure play sports betting company. To me, one of the leaders in the space is BetMGM, right, Mitch, where MGM Resorts owns them. If MGM could spin off BetMGM, that joint venture they have, I think that valuation would be impressive. And, as Guru said here, maybe having some pure play competitors like a FanDuel or a BetMGM or, again, Barstool Sports, right? But it's stuck in Penn National, which is also land-based casinos. So I think that, again, that's a big advantage for DraftKings now. But, what happens in the future if they can get some publicly traded competition, pure play sports betting companies?
I think the pie just gets bigger, but let's see what the chat thinks.
The chat, I think I saw a lot of early votes, and it looked like a lot of ones for DraftKings, Mitch. If I tallied up right, I think the chat picked DraftKings to move on. Maybe they liked your picture, your GIF you put up there of reaching. But yeah, DraftKings heavyweight moves on with our chat's vote. So. But that was a huge.
What are you thinking DraftKings goes to here, Mitch?
To the moon, baby! To the moon!
Insert pocket emoji now.
This is why I can do this on the March SPACness. If you guys see me on Twitter, you probably won't see any of this. But
yeah,
let me have some fun.
You won't see rocket emojis from me on Twitter, but yeah, we're having fun on the show. Great points. Loving the debates here. SPAC Guru. The chat is loving you as well. We've got one more matchup here in the Elite 8. We've got Butterfly. That's BFLY, portable ultrasound company backed by Bill Gates, versus Skills, SKLZ, as Guru said, the same team, Sagansky and Sloan, that also took DraftKings public. Skills working on, mobile person-to-person betting. It's also in, the Nerd ETF, the Bets ETF. Of course, when we had Roundhill on the show, Will Hershey giving us, some insight in that company. So, Guru, break it down. What do you got? Butterfly versus Skills. Guys, press 1 for Butterfly, 2 for Skills. Let's hear from Guru on, the history of these two companies and what's ahead.
Well, Butterfly, as you said, we have a Bill Gates-backed technology. Some of you remember Bill Gates' other backed technology, QuantumScape, QS, a little bit out of favor now, but, they had some warrant drama. They had a lot of people calling out their solid-state technology. And, it's not a good time for some of these SPACs. It was once a high flyer. Maybe it flew too close to the sun. We'll see. But with that being said, we have Butterfly, great technology. If you know anything about the Butterfly technology, and that Kathy Woods has been buying it and adding it, but ARK has also been buying and adding Skills at some points. I don't know if the Skills is still something that's owned there, but I know recently I saw more Butterfly, but that does not mean that we like it or don't like it. We had Butterfly. The Butterfly high was nowhere near the Skills high. Skills almost hit 40. I want to say it was like I'm sorry, it was in the 40s, like maybe low to mid 40s. I remember it hit. Butterfly was higher as well. I think Skills is interesting. I didn't understand it at first. I'm too old, I think. I don't play a lot of these games that are on mobile devices. I do think Butterfly is a breakthrough disruptive technology that could be used in the medical field across the world and in places that don't have the same facilities, such as, first world country hospitals. It's a tough call. But for the long term, I think percentage-wise, this is like a coin toss to me. If I had to put my money into one of them at this price and I couldn't buy half of each, I just think that the Butterfly network has less competition. I think it's a disruptive technology. I like Skills a lot. I see a lot of competitors. I think it's early in the industry. I think we're going to see more competition, but it's a great team. You can't discount Harry Sloan and company. But, Butterfly's pretty insane if you actually go and look what the company does and if you think about how it can be used. So in this coin toss, I'm going Butterfly.
All right, guys, you heard it from Guru. Great matchup here. Two different companies. I would also say I got to toss my hat to Butterfly. Bill Gates. I'd like to think that he knows what he's doing. Also, you have Kathy Wood, ARK Funds, investing heavily in Butterfly from a very early stage in this deal. And then Jonathan Rothberg that founded the company. He's got a couple other companies that are also going public via SPAC. He's a very bright guy when it comes to, creating these companies. So I would have to, lean towards Butterfly and, for the win in 2021. What do you think, Mitch, before we tally up this final vote here for today?
Well. So this is a battle right here, but one of the things is to think about, and really it's just how fast is the technology really going to get picked up in BFLY? One of the things that I can think about is expenses that hospitals have gone through and certain things like that. And I think, I don't think there's going to be many new products added that quickly after the pandemic, but this could be something that they could actually use. And so it's either or, I think this one's going to be a close battle really at the end of the day. But the question is at the end of the year. And so I'm going to say that I'd pick BFLY for long-term, but I'm going to say, if you know what I mean and you got some skills, then I say skills, baby. You got to have the skills, baby. Got to have the skills.
Yeah, this one was a close matchup for me too. And as Guru said, based on the price and the performance, it could be a very close 2021 race. I added up the votes and I see Butterfly as the winner here, getting more ones. But this was possibly the closest matchup in terms of the vote. Very close to that Romeo RSI vote we had, maybe even closer. But Butterfly. Moving on to the final four, what do we got, Mitch? What's our final four look like now through this vote today?
You saw I wanted to put skills there, guys. Hey, all right, guys.
Mitch, we can use DraftKings. We can just take each other's action and not worry about the VIG. We're on the other side of each trade, man.
Oh, man, you already know that life. Let's just say I make more money in sports than stocks this year. That might be something that not a lot of people would admit, but
no,
it's just how it goes, Not
like
promo money.
Make the money where you know how to make it, buddy.
That's right.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. All right, guys. So moving on, we will have in the final four, we will have Romeo Powers versus Desktop Metals. Woo! Can't wait for that battle. And then we got DKNG versus the BFLY. Fly. BFLY was actually a 5th seed from the beginning in our Midwest kind of brackets. So it's an interesting one to make it towards the end, but I'm going to be excited, as we get closer and closer towards the actual national champion here. It's going to be fun. We might have to bring on that company. We just might have to.
Yeah, that is a exciting looking Final Four. I'm excited for those matchups. Again, guys, we're not voting on the Final Four today. That vote is to be determined. We got down from our Elite 8 to the Final Four. But hey, while we've got Guru on the show today, let's get some thoughts on the overall SPAC market. Guys, we're going through some changes here. We've seen SPACs, take a lot of negative comments from CNBC and the like, that they're trading down. So, it's important to hear from some of the people that have been looking at SPACs, for a long time to get those overall thoughts. So, Guru, what do you see for the overall SPAC market the rest of 2021? And, maybe talk about, do we also have a oversupply issue going on that may need to be corrected?
Well, I've been very clear about my feelings towards CNBC and some of their anchors. CNBC represents the big banks, the funds, the institutions, the 1% who hate SPACs because SPACs have been taking a lot of money and putting it into these new vehicles. You can't blame the institutions and funds because it's a free call. When you can buy a unit at net asset value, your downside is redeeming your common for your money back and free goodies, which are warrants. Sometimes when there's more interest to be had or there's an extension, the sponsor team will put more money into escrow. Therefore, they're guaranteed to make a profit with no downside. They also get as much as 6 times leverage to buy a de-SPAC, unmerged SPAC. So if they have $10, they can now put $60 to work that they have no downside. So with that being said, the CNBC guys, they caca these things. And please don't listen to Jim Cramer. He'll tell you in the morning that SPACs are crap. Him and David Faber, they say it with such disdain, like they want to spit after they say it. It's like dirty SPAC. Tuh. And quite frankly, it's not fair. But when Jim, I don't care about fair, but at night, if one of these SPACs agrees to go on Mad Money, Jim Cramer will kiss their ass in Macy's window. So he'll talk crap in the morning and he'll kiss their ass at night. And when he came out and said, "Oh, look, I was pushing this company or that," oh, CNBC, really? Jim Cramer is admitting that he's pushing SPACs? And Jim Cramer is the only person that ever blocked me on Twitter. And the thing that got me blocked was I used to subscribe to his charitable trust alerts. I set up a separate account to buy and sell 5 minutes before Jim Cramer bought and sold. And this is what I learned. He sucks. The reason he's on TV and not running a fund is because he's a shitty investor. I almost killed myself in losses buying and selling his stupidity. And then all he would do is go and talk his book at night on the stocks that he was down on. He would add to losers and sell winners. The guy might be entertaining, but if he was really good, he'd be running billions of dollars in hedge fund money and not making $5 million a year on CNBC. So know what you're looking at. It's entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about Cramer on here. He does have some influence. He can move some of these SPACs when they do those interviews. But if you're a CEO watching this show, remember, you can always come on SPACs Attack and talk to the people here rather than going on CNBC. We've been fortunate that we've gotten some of the CEOs on here before they went on Cramer, like James Litinsky, like Patty Cook from Finance of America, and many others. Great points, Guru. I got to ask, we've got you here and might as well pick your brain. So, you just saw it.
Hold on a second. I think we have Cramer's response here. Cramer's response. Oh no, he's just a flip flop. He's just a flip flop.
That's right.
He's just a flip flop. Don't worry about it, man.
I hate all SPACs. Oh, just kidding. I love the SPACs that come on my show and talk to me. Guru, while we've got you on here, we just saw in the Elite 8, many well-known SPAC names. What are some, undervalued, unknown SPACs that maybe, could be good investments for the rest of 2021 or for the long term, looking forward that people may not be as familiar with here?
So I'm going to start with my dark horse. My dark horse that nobody ever talks about is Bullhorn, BHSE. The reason that I like Bullhorn is, first of all, Rob Stryer is a stud. Had a little bit of a go as a professional hockey player, so therefore he's tough. He's been involved with strategic planning for companies like Disney and multiple professional sports companies. He's one of the few people that I've ever seen downsize his SPAC. So I said, listen, all these SPACs are getting bigger and bigger. Why did you have the money and decline and go smaller? And his response was incredibly interesting to me. He said, it's a competitive advantage. A lot of these targets are coming in and they see how much the sponsor is getting. You're getting 20% of like a Michael Klein Churchill deal. 20% of $2 billion is a significant holding. Now, granted, after the merger happens and the company comes in and the pipe is done, that gets significantly diluted to a much smaller percentage, but we're starting pretty high. Rob's statement was, hey, with our small SPAC, our promote, our sponsor share is very low. And being a lot of these targets now are negotiating for better deals and better terms from these sponsors because so many different SPACs are chasing them, this actually gives them a chance to say, hey, I don't need as much money now. And I would like to see more of these companies do like some of these secondaries. I'd rather see a company de-SPAC without a pipe on a deal that's a good deal, have stock appreciation like we've seen with Skills or MP or what have you, and then do a secondary at a much higher price. It's less dilutive to the company. It's less dilutive to you and I, the SPAC or de-SPAC shareholder, for them to raise money at a much better valuation. So, with those being said, I own a little bit of the Bullhorn. It's a curiosity to me. So that's one of them. Another one that I really don't understand is OCA. You can go buy OCA right now and have no downside. There are units, there are warrants, and anybody who does not know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, I know Gary V for 20 years. He started Wine Library. He has Vayner Media. The guy is a stud. He grinds. He's actually exhausting to be around. The guy is 100% always on, and he will die before he quits. So here you have a chance. Go look it up. Don't listen to me. Go look up OCA. Go find the link. Go see the team. Look who they put together, and then go look at the price and say, I can own this cheaper than the funds. I have no downside. I have upside, and I've got some studs. So I like to bet the jockey, not the horse. It's why I told you that I like Soaring Eagle. It's why I told you I'm in OCA. And I'm betting on Rob Stryer on some Bullhorn. So
awesome. Excellent picks there. We had Rob from Bullhorn on the show. We also had Matt from OCA on the show, guest judge on Shark Tank. He's been involved in lots of industry. And then, of course, Gary V. Guru, before we let you go, just real quick, those are all ones that haven't announced deals. How about just one under the radar, one that's already completed their merger that maybe people are sleeping on here?
Give me a second. I'm scrolling through. If anybody's seen the picture I posted, I have 9 screens of charts. So
yeah, I love your setup. I've seen it. I know that.
What? 9 screens? You're getting me jealous
Mitch,
here,
I gotta send you the picture. It's insane.
You're getting me jealous here. I got a nice 4-screen setup, but you're making me feel bad now.
We actually named the computer. I want to send a shout out to the Theta Warrior, who does incredible analytics on charts. He was kind enough to build me my computer that runs these screens.
Boom.
We named it the SPAC, like Spock from Star Trek. It stands for Special Purpose. What the hell do we call it? Oh, SPAC. Oh, it's my SPAC Purpose something center, whatever. But anyway, but now that it runs 8 computers itself, it's SPACtopus. But anyhow, based on all of that, what's under the radar? I'm looking. Oh, there's so many I like. I'm going to throw.
If anything, I can mention one that maybe, and then you can tell me what you think.
Go.
I heard you mention it earlier. Everyone knows I like this one. SPNV, Supernova, OfferPad. What's up with that?
Well, the Supernova, and I don't know how many of you guys follow Spencer, but he's a cool guy. Spencer Raskoff. He'll comment on our SPAC conversations. The guy started Zillow. He's a stud. Love it. But I don't know if that one's off the radar. I was buying more Proterra today, and I was buying more Arrival. What company is cooler than Arrival? Their stuff is the best. It's awesome. They have a product. Who are they selling to? UPS, the British Post Office. This isn't 2026 revenue. This is a product. And another one I was buying today is Proterra. They make EV buses. I don't post them all, but every day I get news alerts. Harvard, Stanford, Duke. All these universities are replacing their existing internal combustion buses with Proterra.
Yep.
And with the current administration, they're very much interested in EV, green, net carbon neutral. Proterra, it got its ass kicked this morning. So if you nibble, and don't go YOLO FOMO or I'm going to yell at you, buy these things small. As they come down, nibble a little more. When you buy things that go up too fast, sell them. Sell some of them. Sell all of them. You usually get a chance to buy them back. As my market maker buddy tells me, they always come home. Don't hold bags. If you say you hold bags, good. You deserve those bags. If you have a little bag, you can add a little more to it, and you'll get an average cost somewhere. So please, everybody, be safe. It's your money. Nobody gives a shit about your money more than you. Do yourself a favor. Buy slow, sell, trim whenever you can.
Awesome, guys. That's going to wrap it. We already went a couple minutes over. I know we got another show ready to start. I got to tell you, Guru, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm a fan of yours. I also consider you a friend. I love interacting with you on Twitter. Guys, if you don't follow him, that's at SPAC Guru. Great person with knowledge of the SPAC market. So we'd love to have you back on, great debates here, but we're out of time. Thank you, Guru, for coming on the show today. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Mitch. Love you. Love you, Mitch.
Hey, much love. Hey, you guys can check him out. Go to the description down below right now. Hit that Twitter, hit that follow button. And while you're at it, definitely hit the share button. Let everyone know where you can see all this SPAC information and the SPACness. And we'll see you guys next time on the SPACs Attack.
Bye, everyone.
Baby.